Welcome to The Explainer. We're all about breaking down big ideas and stories into presentations that are, actually clear and engaging.
So, have you ever wondered how a project actually builds momentum for a huge new release? Well, today we're going to follow the story of Surf, a project in the Cardano ecosystem, and see exactly how they built excitement piece by piece for their V2 launch. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so every big launch has to start somewhere. For Surf, it all began with laying the groundwork, really setting the stage by expanding what their platform could even do.
Their very first move was pretty strategic. They opened up a new supply pool. You can kind of think of this like adding a new water reservoir to a city. Now, you couldn't borrow from it just yet, but what it did was prepare the platform for future liquidity, making sure the assets would be there when needed. It was a really clear signal to the community that something bigger was on its way.
And they didn't wait long. Pretty soon after, they flipped the switch on a second pool. But this time, you could both lend and borrow. This is where things really started to pick up. It went from just setting up the infrastructure to, actual participation. And that created the first real wave of excitement. But these new pools, well, they were just the beginning. The pace of development really started to accelerate from here. And then, bam, a whole flurry of enhancements dropped all at once. The team didn't just add one thing. They rolled out a ton of improvements at the same time, like adding new languages and more asset pairs. But buried in all that activity was this crucial little breadcrumb, a hint that they were tightening up V2 for public testnet. That was the hook, right? The first official sign that this wasn't just another update. So with the groundwork laid and everyone's attention officially captured, the team was finally ready to show what all this hard work was really leading up to. And let's be clear, this wasn't just some minor update. No way. This was a complete overhaul, a system totally redesigned for massive growth. It was the culmination of all those small, steady steps into one giant leap forward. Now, here's what's really cool. You might look at this list and just see a bunch of technical terms, but each one of these features is a direct answer to something users have been asking for. Like take partial loan repayments. That's huge. It gives you so much more flexibility. Or time-based lender rewards, which is a great way to incentivize people to stick around for the long term. It's a whole suite of tools just designed to give you more control.
So the reveal was made, the features were announced, and now the public countdown began. This is where communication is absolutely critical.
And you can just feel the anticipation building here. Look how the timeline shrinks. It goes from a vague, week-long target to a definitive launch date. Next week becomes this Thursday, and then finally, tomorrow. This whole progression is just a masterclass in building hype. So why? Why do all these upgrades? What's the end game here? Well, the team made their objective incredibly clear. Their first version, V1, was a solid success. It secured a total value of 15 million ADA, which is the native currency on the Cardano blockchain. That's a really strong foundation to build on. But with V2, the goal is a nearly 7 times increase. This isn't just about small improvements anymore. We're talking about a fundamental shift in scale. It really shows you the scope of their ambition. And this quote right here connects all the dots. It's the why behind the what. Every new feature we just saw, the dynamic rates, the partial repayments, all of it, they're all tools that were specifically designed to hit this one ambitious target. So this public launch becomes the first major test. Does their V2 evolution actually have what it takes to reach that 100 million ADA goal? The foundation is laid, the tools are built, the ambition is clear. Now it's up to the market to decide.